Is this working? Is this better? Yeah, she's purring a lot. She's so happy. Yay, sound is working. Okay, move over here. Move over here. So that's the kitty therapy for today. She's super happy. She's getting some pets. She has a small bruise on her hair. I'm gonna have to get that checked out. She's shedding a lot again. Yeah, she's happy. So hi everyone, hi, Patricia, Ian, Jit, Dan, Avery, Cyan, Otto, hi. Who else is here? I saw that Paulo was here. Mary. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna bring this cute baby to our napping spot. So much cat hair. I don't know why, I feel like I'm always refilling this bottle and it's always empty. Just gonna try to remove some of the cat hairs. I'm covered. Pfft. Hello, Bar Mayor Neiman. And I apologize if I said your name wrong. Hi, Arath Beast and Jacqueline. Yeah, Pico feels like it's a second week in a row, second stream in a row that she wants some love at the moment. I am doing a live stream. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Oui, il manque un peu de quoi. Ouais, puis là, petit gars, juste surveiller. Et tu peux enlever ça de poêle sur sa chaise. En frottant juste là.
Okay, I am back. I'm rolling into position. I apologize. Don't look at the screen because this is gonna get a bit shaky, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So how about that? Yeah, well, this is, see the tip of my finger? That's about the edge of the working area. This is the working area. It's not super big. It's that's why I like travel palettes and small palettes, because whenever I have a bigger palettes, I have to use a folding table on the side to put it on there. Oh, what tea it is? It is yogi chai tea, courtesy of Otto, and with some soy cream in it and no sugar. I don't really like tea with sugar. No, I cannot have a face cam because I only have the one camera, so yeah. Yeah, I think I've shown you guys all my like kitty shrine and like the 1 billion million brushes I have on the table, and like it's a decent table, and if I were someone who didn't have a lot of stuff, it would work well. But yeah. Question, what is your favorite watercolor brand? I do not have one favorite. I like a good many of them. I feel it's a bit too restrictive to have one favorite, because what happens if it's not available? You'd be stuck without it, and it would be so stressful. So I really like Holbein and Daniel Smith and M. Graham and Sennelier, and basically anything that's a professional watercolor range that has good pigment load, it's good. Yeah, I really love chai teas. I think it's one of my favorite. So yeah, I don't know if it will happen, but I was expecting some kind of, oh yeah, pre-stream. Well, the stream is started, but I'm not painting, so yeah, I will remove pre-stream thing. Thanks for the reminder, guys, by the way. you know I always forget it by now. But yeah, I was expecting something, and we got the like delivery notice that it should be this morning, and the guy is like 2 hours late. So this is a bit annoying. Because I'm like, get this stuff here, you're late. So every time someone comes near the door outside, I'm like, oh, is it the guy? Is it the guy? And yeah, it's not. Okay. Okay, different question. What would you recommend to aspiring watercolor artist? Okay, simply put, I really like, I'm more in favor of the idea that actual advantage to starting with lower grade supplies, because you're trying to learn, and what you learn with these supplies, you're probably gonna have to learn all over again when you move on to better supplies. So that's what I think. I personally think you're better off with a good paper, a few good brushes, and a few good colors if you're starting, because you're not gonna get any bad folds from the beginning. You're gonna learn on the good stuff, and you have to be able to think of this stuff in terms of it's okay to use it. I gotta use it to be better, and I gotta go through supplies to eventually get to a level where I'm happy. I think I'm good. So that's what I personally think. I know some other people will suggest getting student grade stuff like the paper, the brushes, the paints. Yeah, I don't really think that's what I would encourage you to do. And also, the thing is, if you get quality supplies and you realize you don't like watercolor, but you've taken good care of your quality supplies, you can resell them. You're not stuck with them. There will be a market for artist grade paper and brushes and paints, even if they're used. So you're not stuck with it. While the student stuff, especially brushes and paper, you're not going to be able to get rid of this stuff unless you give it away. So yeah, you're better off spending your money on good paper, a few good brushes. You don't need 1 million billion brushes. You only need a few good ones. And especially if you're starting, I mean, you start with one, you experiment with one, and you get used to the one, and then you may be able to understand better when you see a different size or a different tip brush, what it's gonna let you do, what it's gonna bring in that you can do. So yeah, and for the paints, I know that professional range watercolors are more expensive, but you don't need a million color to start. You can start with a magenta, a yellow, and a blue. You start with the primary triad, and you see where that takes you, and then you can add a tube to it here and there. And there are like so many suggestions of beginner's palette in terms of colors available that it's really easy to find something that will perhaps fit your style better the more you get acquainted with this. There are good few starting set that have cool and warm primaries, like cool red, cool yellow, cool blue, warm blue. So yeah, that's just my take on it. I mean, if that doesn't vibe with you, you just do whatever you want ultimately. But this is the thing I would tell myself back when I started painting, like younger me. I was like, well, I didn't have a lot of choice available to me, so there was that too. But yeah, I would possibly tell myself to invest in good paper, because I was really using crap paper at the beginning, and it it was what it was. What are you expecting? Oh, it's just a small box with a book, tape, and something like a can of coconut milk to have free shipping. So yeah, just random stuff. Yeah, like Jit is saying, local tube orders will be super happy to buy your used tubes. Yeah, if you want to sell professional paints, you sell them on like Etsy possibly or eBay, and there are professionals who will buy these. Maybe not if you try to sell them like at a huge profit, but if you just want to get rid of them and make a bit of your investment back, you can do that, so you're not stuck with them. While student paints, they're kind of lousy, and it's perhaps more difficult to sell them. Is it okay to have a billion brush anyway? Yeah, sure. But I mean, if you want to start somewhere and you have a limited budget, you don't need to start with a billion cheap brushes. You can start with a few decent ones. Not the top of the line, but a few like good ones, and good paper and decent paints, and yeah. So long story short, I hope that answered the question. It's much easier to start with less colors as well, because you don't get as caught up into mixing. Like, it can be overwhelming to have 12 colors that you can mix. Well, if you have just 3, that's what it is. And ultimately, with the 3 colors, all the things you paint, they're gonna look good, because you won't bring in too many colors and color temperatures that are gonna clash. If you have only 3 colors, it's fairly safe to assume that everything is gonna look good. So yeah, that's my take. Yeah, I agree that nothing teaches color mixing and color theory like a limited palette. And it's not about sticking with 3 colors forever. It's just about starting with 3 colors. If you choose a good cyan, magenta, yellow primary, you can mix almost everything. Seriously, and it's gonna be easier because ultimately everything you mix is mixed from these trees. So if you like it has so few factors that will have an effect on what you're doing that it's easier to manage, even if it's a bit more of a struggle to understand at the beginning. But once you've understand that, it's going to be much easier for you to add in stuff and understand what is going on. Oh, I think that's my package. Hold on. Yep. Yeah. Success. It's here. It's here. Let's open it up. Okay. Sorry about that. Where was I? Okay, question. If you had to pick 6 colors for a small travel palette, what colors would you choose? If I had like to choose right away, I would pick the 6-color Daniel Smith Essential set that auto-linked. Cool, warm primaries. You're covered with that. You can get everything done. If I had a bit more time, perhaps I would get into stranger colors, but with these 6, you can really do everything. Did we get an unboxing? Sure. So it's gonna be not super exciting though. It's gonna be quite boring. Oh, hi, Hercule Poirot. And I'm sorry if I missed people. I think Carria was here earlier. I don't know if she's still there. And Palm, hi. Okay, so quickly. Oh yeah, the most exciting thing. Coconut milk. Okay, at least this one is craft related. It's double-sided tape that is super sticky. And it's really useful for everything. So that. And possibly the most exciting thing in there in terms of art is this calligraphy book. And I'm kind of surprised that it came in plastic. First time I get books in plastic. Okay, so I'm really picky. I've looked at a good amount of calligraphy book, and I really don't like those that have all the steps on a single letter, like with arrows 1, 2, 3, and you're like, what the hell is going on? So yeah, and I said that this one was a bit better, and it was also different from the other book I have, because I already have a really good one that I like a lot, but it's weird having a single source for this stuff. I kind of like to have 2, because I noticed that some letters I learned in the other book, they don't do them exactly the same way in here. So it was, that's what interested me about this book. So you can see you have all the, like the steps with arrows and everything. And yep, it's really new, it's really nice, it smells awesome. Great book. I am not super fancy about calligraphy. I kind of like to just have you know, just a flat brush and kind of wing it, even if they have all kinds of fancy like pens. I'm not super fancy about this stuff yet. Still a really early beginner. So yeah, there is this is great. Like, you have so many things in there, and it's really not exactly the same as the other book I have. This is amazing. And it smells awesome. I love books, obviously. Sorry. Yeah, we Lee, we get them on Saturday and Sunday sometime when it's intercom that delivers Amazon. I don't know if you get that, but that's how we it's kind of a new thing. No, it's not a really big package, it's just a book. I mean, they always have this kind of standard box. But yeah. Oh, I guess my mother-in-law could possibly teach me, but we don't live in the same city, so it's kind of weird to set up. Okay, before I answer more questions, I kind of want to get something started on here. So I was wondering if you had questions about, not questions, suggestions about stuff you would like me to paint today. So yeah. How's the Keto coming along? Okay, Keto, where to start? I will start by putting the book away. Okay, so perhaps a quick explanation. I have issues with energy levels. I think most people have them, but if you have them, you know how annoying that is. Oh, Space Cat. Okay. Lee's cat. Okay, so yeah, energy levels. So it's really annoying to have like fluctuating energy levels because you like I get enough sleep and I work from home, so I save up time on transit and all of that, but still at times I feel like incredibly sleepy. And it's so weird and it's so annoying, and you're like, why am I this lethargic? So I'm not eating dairy. I was mostly vegan, so not eating a lot of meat. And I was still having like these awful like dips, and I felt like I had to eat sugar all the time just to keep a good level, which is not awesome. So I decided to try perhaps something where you don't eat a lot of carbs, like sugar, and because carbs is basically sugar. So yeah, so the quick and easy answer to that is the keto diet, because you try to eat so few carbs that you enter a stage called ketosis. That makes it easier for your body to go get the energy it needs in the stored fat rather than what you eat, because you don't eat a lot of carbs. So okay, that's just a setup. So I decided to try that. It was a bit weird because that means switching from a diet where I don't eat a lot of meat to one where I eat more meat. And that was kind of weird, but still it went well, so I'm glad with that. But yeah, so that's a bit the weird stuff. And I think it went kind of well, but it's hard to say because also this week, hold on, I'm just grabbing a few supplies. Razor. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so I was afraid my body would react weirdly to the increased meat consumption. It managed okay, so that's fine. But the thing is that on Monday evening perhaps, Oh, you guys saw my hair? What? So yeah, there was a, what's the word in English? What's the word I'm looking for? But there was some water damage done to our mattress. If you have the mattress, we don't have a really big mattress, but anyway. And the people, not the floor above us, but the floor above that, they had something overflow with water, and it went through the floor above us, and then it went through our roof, and then it leaked on the mattress, and it wet like an area like this on the mattress, and it wet all the way through. So we went to go to bed, and the bed was wet, and we were confused for a moment before we realized that it's probably something that seeped all the way down. So anyway, all that to say that I had to sleep on the couch. So it was really difficult to see if the keto diet gave me more energy, because I was sleep deprived anyway from sleeping on the couch. Long story short. So yeah, I will possibly keep it going, like at least in a way that I try to eat as few carbs as possible. I'm not good with absolutes and everything, like push too far. So like if I have a meal with friends, well, I will try to pick the most keto-friendly option on the menu, but if there's nothing, I'm just gonna try to grab something that is healthy and in a decent proportion and just deal with it. So yeah. So yeah, so week 1 went fine. I have some adjustments to do, but I will try at least week 2 of keto diet, which is basically to try and eat very few carbs. The thing I have the most difficulty with is the fat tea. I mean, it's not bad. It's just difficult to drink something that fat and warm in the summer first thing in the morning. So it's been kind of rough for that. But yeah, I've been eating like perhaps a lot more greens than I used to, because greens are good for the keto diet. They don't have a lot of carbs, and they have enough fiber to counter the carbs. So I thought that tofu was not super keto friendly, but then I did a bit of research and I realized that it's super fine for keto. So I need to bring in more tofu and perhaps a bit less meat into this diet, because it still feels a bit weird to be eating meat. Like, I'm not super happy with the idea. I try to make good choices, like to buy the stuff that is perhaps more consciously raised, but still. No, I have a lousy willpower. It's really crummy. Oh, from what I understand, this specific diet does have to be all or nothing, or your body won't get used to using fats. Yeah, but that's not sustainable. All or nothing things are not sustainable. So, fine, maybe I will never get into ketosis. Okay, too bad, but still, if I can find a way for myself to rely less on sugar and carbs for energy and more on the other nutrients like protein and fat, that's what I want to go through. So yeah, it's so Jacqueline is saying, warning, be sure to drink a lot of water. Ketosis can be very hard on your kidneys. Oh, good tip, thank you. Yeah, something I have perhaps a harder time with, so I really need to remind myself to drink more water, especially in the summer. But yeah, I mean, it's just like the what I was eating before was perhaps a bit unbalanced. So if sticking to a kind of keto diet helps me achieve more balance, that's not lost. That's not you know, that's good. Try to avoid gluten. A good rule of thumb is to eat veggies that grow overground. I drink mostly water and nice matcha tea with cream. If you eat keto, you're sort of stuck in a way that you have to avoid gluten anyway, because most things made with are super carby, so you don't eat them anyway. So it's kind of a very low gluten diet by default. I have no issues with gluten though. I tried like a couple of weeks of eating no gluten and it was just awful. And the more I ate no gluten, the worse I felt. So I was like, nope, bring me back some real bread, because this, not, especially for bread. But yeah, I mean, I'm fine with rice. Is a super awesome food that is, I don't like the fake foods that are made to have no gluten in it, because it's sort of, it's a bit like mayonnaise without fat. It shouldn't be. That's just not something that should exist. Yeah, I love sugar. I really love. I had a real problem with sugar, and it was not improving. It was just getting worse. And I am not getting any younger, so whatever sugar I eat is just not used by my body as much as perhaps it was when I was younger. Because when you're younger, you sort of use up this stuff more. Okay, what else? Tofu is almost pure protein, no carb. Oh, I missed the... Yeah, tofu has a bit of carbs, perhaps a bit of fiber, so the fiber helps counters the carbs a bit. It has no fat, or very little fat, but I was thinking that to make it keto anyway, I would cook it in a bit of oil, so... Yeah, I don't drink alcohol anyway. Anyway, I can't because of medications. Like, if you're on anxiety meds, you shouldn't be drinking any alcohol anyway. Okay, so what else is in the chat? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of interesting things. Like, I am not completely new to the health and diet stuff. I really like learning about this stuff. So I'm not like insanely knowledgeable, but I'm not a noob either. So I know a few things, and I agree that in some extremes, the stats you get from various measurements of your bodies are not applicable, like BMI for super athletic people, not relevant, but it's still an indicator for someone who is sedentary. And, you know, something as simple as not fitting in your jeans is an indicator that perhaps you need to be a bit more careful. So there are things like that. Oh yeah. Oh, thanks, Otto. Yeah, and besides, I'm relatively headstrong with that. So if you come at me with like, oh, you're not doing this right, don't try. I appreciate the tips, like drinking water on ketosis. That's super useful, but telling me that this or that is the way to go, that's not gonna work. Because I know my body and I know how I feel, and really no one is gonna be able to convince me of anything else. So yeah. Yeah, and I'm also a bit like you, Kathy. Like, I am so short that it doesn't take a really high number on the scale for me to become obese. And at the moment, I am considered obese. I don't feel obese, and I don't possibly look obese, but it's an indicator. And whether or not it's accurate or not, it still tells you something. It might tell me that if I keep this going, my health is gonna, get worse. And that's not something that I'm interested in. Oh, bye, Paolo. Oh yeah, but I'm not carbing up. That's the thing. Like like yesterday, I ate a whole week of keto food, and like yesterday evening we ate sushi. And I don't feel bad or worse. I don't feel any effect from that today. I'm fine. Oh, thank you, Dan and Otto. That is so kind. Thanks. And besides, I'm only a weekend, so I might find out that this doesn't work for me. I mean, it's still possible. I'm still learning this stuff, but I just wanted to try something different, because what I was doing, which is eating perhaps too much carb and sugar and possibly skimping on the fats, was not working. Because I think, and to me it seems fairly logical, that not everybody works the same way. Like, not everybody, like, as a people, but every human body is not processing the fuel the same way. Like, some people need to eat no gluten, and they thrive on a diet that has 0 gluten in it, and that's awesome. If they can get it and you know, eat that and feel better, that's really great. And some people feel like they need to go with something like the Atkins diet or the paleo diet, or, I mean, name it. There's a bunch of them. So yeah, and basically I've tried dieting before. This is not the first. I mean, I'm a girl. What are you expecting me to say? So yeah, so I mean, I know my way around this stuff. I've tried things that have worked more or less for me, so this is what I use to inform my decision. And I know that I need to find a way to make this work for me, and that's what I'm doing. So yeah. Thanks Otto and Jit. Yay. But yeah, there is a lot of things to consider. Like, some people will tell you that a calorie is a calorie no matter what, and that if you eat less calorie than you put out, you will lose weight. And while that's true, the way the body processes calories is not the same for all the calories, because it depends on where they're from, in the sense of, if you eat 100 calories of white bread and if you eat 100 calories of brown whole wheat bread. I'm sorry about the gluten-free people, because bread is the first idea that came to mind, but the white bread is basically sugar, and the brown bread, the whole wheat bread, has fibers and natural things that are made to help counter all the sugar. So yeah, while it's 100 and 100 calories, it's not going to be processed the same way in the body. That's just that. Thanks you, Avery. Avery saying that they congratulate me for actively trying to better myself, purely to make yourself feel better. Well, it's a part of the thing, right? If you struggle with anxiety and depression, being in a place where you feel better about yourself is gonna help a lot. So Otto was inquiring about these 2 pans, and I think that's kind of funny, because these 2 pans are her lovely ultramarine blue she sent me that I've put in this cute little plate for now. So I think that's kind of great. Yeah, I agree with what Hercule Poirot is saying. They're saying that it's really difficult to find the right thing, and it takes a lot of trial and error. But I've been on low carb since last August, and it did help, especially the no sugar part. I mean, if that diet ultimately only serves to teach you that there is, like, sugar is the best example, but it's not the only thing. But if you basically learn that there's sugar in everything, because like keto, you have to check this stuff up, because the way it works basically is you have the carb number and you have the fiber, and if something has 10 grams of carbs and 2 grams of fiber, F2, technically it has only 8 grams of net carbs, because the fibers will counter the sugar. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting to see that something like mango, it's a fruit, it's super healthy, but when you look at the way it's it's composed as a bunch of molecules, it has an insane amount of sugar in it and not a lot of fiber. So it's just interesting because like the older you get, sometimes the more you feel weird, and you're like, why am I feeling weird? I don't think I've changed anything in my diet or the way I live. And the body, by aging, it's gonna, sorry about that, but it's gonna start falling apart. So yeah, so just to be aware of this stuff, like if you think like, oh, I eat a lot of fruit, I should not feel this weird, and you realize that in fact you're eating a lot of sugar through these fruits and perhaps not enough fiber, and that's perhaps something you can rebalance to make you feel better. I mean, our bodies don't come with a manual, so we have to test stuff and figure it out. That's the way I feel about this. Too much of anything is bad for you except art. I agree, Kathy. Art is bad for the wallet. Yeah, that's also true. Question, does it make sense to put a dot of yellow paint on your mixing area? Like you have yellow on your mixing space to contaminate freely and... Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. You can definitely have many dots of one color if you want to keep them pure, or have like a larger, if you just pour the paint in your palette, you can have a larger blob of paint, and you make it so this part is the one that's clean and this part is the one that you dirty up. I was thinking about you, Otto, because I knew that Otto has a thing about contaminated yellows. I don't think it's gonna show because my mug is still very full, but I think it was Mary who asked me about the Moose Hug You mug in my latest live stream. This is the one I have today, so when I finish drinking it, I'll be able to show you guys this fun mug. Well, I mean, Dan, if you... I agree with you, Dan, that there is no such thing as too much chocolate, but apparently my body doesn't agree with that same statement. And if you suffer from anxiety, sugar is a terrible crutch. Because it gives you this sort of high of like you feel like you feel better. It's really a crutch. There is no better way of saying it. So I kind of rely on it a bit too much. Yeah, that didn't pan out like I wanted in terms of inking, but oh well. Let's wing it. Has any of you tried the Isaro watercolors? I haven't. What are they about? Otto, you've spoken to it about me because you sent me pans and there were twice the same yellow. And then you explained why that was the case. Yeah, sugar is addictive. And it is addictive, I think, because of the way it creates this feeling of happiness in your brain from all the free energy that goes into it. I'm really not familiar with this brush pen, so yeah. This is definitely not how I wanted the eyes to look, but what do you know? Gotta make do. I could perhaps make it into a kind of a tabby, so that would explain the harsher markings. Oh, that's interesting. So the Isaro paints are made by a Belgian woman who mills them and makes them. They are wonderful. Are they like commercially available, or is it more of a small artisanal business? I have absolutely no knowledge of how a spacesuit is supposed to work, so I'm really just doing whatever. And I claim the right to the rule of sci-fi. Oh, that's interesting. From the Isaro website. I personally ensure the production of all colors, and the time I spend on it is more and more important. My policy is to offer a quality product at a fair price. That's really cool. Yeah, I will have to try the link once I am done with live streaming. Like it's not easy to do at the same time, because my computer is not within reach. Oh, I found another great guilty pleasure type of content to watch on Netflix. Because recently Netflix has added the Canadian first season of Storage Wars. I'm pretty sure everyone, at least in the US, knows what Storage Wars is about. But, oh, thanks, Otto. Awesome. Thank you so much for sending me the links. The link. Cool. Oh, wait. More interesting thing in the chat. Oh, wow. So, the lady who makes the Isaro paints, her dad made most of the milling machines. That is so cool. Ah, nice. I will definitely have to check that out. Thanks. Yeah, thanks Hercule Poirot for mentioning it. Okay, Storage Wars is basically kind of a lousy reality show about people who buy delinquent storage units and hope for the best kind of treasures hidden away in the stuff that's been forgotten there. And it's really silly, and it's really just like really campy in a way. But I think I get a lot of fun out of it. It's a good background noise, and it's sort of interesting to see what they found, even if it's I don't know how genuine everything is, but it's still interesting to see like the things they find. Sometimes it's like you wouldn't guess what it is, and knowing what it is through them researching what it is sort of interesting. And I love that I don't know if it's the same with the American version of Storage Wars, but at the end of every episode there's always kind of a silly segment with a silly like couple of scenes with some of the people in the show, and they do silly stuff, and it's just funny. So that makes me laugh. Now, Big Mouth is awful. Sorry about that. But yeah, Storage Wars is really funny. Oh, polenta with tomato sauce is amazing. I discovered polenta recently. Well, recently. Not like perhaps in the last year. I had never really tried it before, but you can buy the like the polenta sausages. It's a big cylinder of polenta, and you just cook it on the pan, and it's really delicious with tomato sauce or any kind of tomato thing like salsa or whatever. Lee is saying sun-dried tomato sauce. Yeah, that's gotta be amazing. It's really fun. I wouldn't know how to prepare it from the flour, but the ready to cook loaf of polenta is pretty versatile. And yeah, you can just slice rounds of it and pan fry them with a bit of oil, salt and pepper and sauce, and it's super delicious side dish that has no gluten, I think, because it's made from corn. So that's pretty amazing. But it's like it's a big sausage. It's like this big. And it's it's made from corn. I think that's all there is in there. It's like just corn and perhaps water, if you buy the sausage. I think I'm not a guy first, and I'm a bit too old to appreciate Big Mouth, because I've tried an episode or two because it's animated, and I wanted to throw myself out the window. So yeah, for me that was a big miss. Oh, cooking polenta is super easy, just add hot water. I should totally get the cornmeal then and try to make polenta shapes. Because seriously, who wouldn't? I grew up with shows like Daria in terms of dealing with stuff growing up, and that was a much better hit for me. That hit close to home a lot more than anything else I've watched. Oh, okay, so polenta is just cooked ground corn, but you have to stir all the time. It's kind of like cooking porridge. Yeah, I'm lazy, so I just buy the big sausage, and it's like not really expensive. I mean, it's probably even cheaper to buy the meal and boil it yourself, but the prepared polenta sausage is like $2.50. So, and you can make for like 4, 5, 6 meals of this stuff. It's big, and you just slice it up, and it's kind of fun in that way. Yeah, I think your take on it is perhaps more accurate. That big mouth, it's kind of crude. I think that in terms of kind of crude, I preferred to watch the South Park when I was younger, because I know it's still going on, but I used to watch it like 10 seasons ago. So that made me laugh. Oh, hi, April. I saw you come in and I forgot to say hi. I'm so sorry. Oh, thanks, Kathy. Yeah, it's the same thing with canned beans. Like, I understand that bulk dry beans are almost given to you, like, for no money, but the process of cooking them is sort of a bit too time consuming for me. So I just buy the canned, and I'm like, meh. Yeah, a recipe for pizza that uses polenta as a base. That's a really good idea. And you can make mini pizzas if you want to buy just the sausage. There's a lot of things like that I thought was funny, like when you're younger, you basically eat what is served at home because you don't really cook and you don't really have a lot of say in the decision making. So I remember eating a lot of stuff that I was like, no, okay. And when I moved into an apartment of my own, well, these things sort of were not appealing enough that I kept on eating them. And one of those things was asparagus, because my mother used to buy only the canned asparagus. And those things are gross. No way around it, it's just disgusting. It's soft and it tastes like butt. Okay, I have really bad memories of canned asparagus. And at some point I started like, I realized that you can buy them fresh. And I checked how you're supposed to prepare them, and you just pan cook them. And like, fresh asparagus are amazing. I still don't understand why my mom would make it a point to always get the canned ones. Peas are the same thing, like canned peas. But frozen peas are amazing. Ooh, chickpeas. Yeah, but it's a good tip, Stephen. Stephen is saying that check into Instant Pot for legumes. The cooking time is only about 10 minutes, although it has to warm up and cool as well. But that part is quite hands off. Yeah, sure. I remember, like, you know, you can cook with I don't know what it's a pressure cooker. It's just, I think it's called the Presto around here, but yeah, pressure cooker is pretty amazing, but it's like there's always a story of someone who tried to use a pressure cooker and they forgot to put the kind of pressure weight at the top, so they ended up with whatever was in the pressure cooker vaporized all over the roof and the walls and the floor and everything. And if I remember correctly, the story in my family about that was chicken that was instantly vaporized, because if you've seen a pressure cooker, it has this huge thick lid in metal. and at the center of the lid you have kind of a knobby thing, and you have to put on kind of a weird weight that sits on top of this thing and helps the pressure come out. It regulates the pressure inside the thing because the thing is sealed really hermetically, and it's cooking, so it's generating heat and pressure, and this thing like will move around and release a bit of the pressure. But they forgot to put this thing on, so basically everything that was in the pan came out through the very small hole at the top and it made a mess. Or it might have been beets, but beets I would remember, because if you have beets coming through that, everything is going to be stained pink forever. I like to put salt on asparagus. I cook them in a bit of oil and I put salt on them, and it's really delicious. And yeah, Jacqueline, exactly the same thing. Jacqueline is saying that they grew up drinking instant tea and eating mashed potatoes. And yeah, the moment she left home, she hasn't eaten them again. Same. The only veggie that is actually decent from the can is corn, in my opinion. Not creamed corn. Creamed corn is gross, but regular corn, it's not that bad. Do you guys know what was your favorite food as a baby? Because I think it's kind of funny to check back on that once we have a more developed taste. Like I think my mom my mom thought it was peculiar because she started, that was the 80s, so you don't have the convenience of today, but she would cook my purees as a baby, and they always tell you to start with stuff that most babies like carrots and chicken and that kind of stuff, but I hated chicken. And I really, really hated chicken. Like nothing to be done. And my favorites were spinach and lamb and parsnip. And my mom thought that it was kind of weird, because she was like, those are not the ones that the kids go for right away, because they taste a bit stronger. But yeah, and I would hate chicken, and I still don't really like chicken today, so I think that's kind of a... Like, is there anything worse than like bland chicken breasts? Ugh! It just doesn't taste any good. It's not fatty enough to have any taste. You need fat to have good taste in things. Oh, chocolate pudding, that's cool. That's maybe why you like sugar so much, Dan. Chickpeas and beans are good from a can, that's really true. But they're not veggies, they're legumes. It's not quite the same thing. Frozen veggies are a bit better. Frozen peas and frozen corn are amazing. Frozen spinach can be a lifesaver because spinach fresh doesn't keep super well in the fridge. That's funny. Jit is saying that they're not sure about favorite, but they hated eggs, and now they're an egg monster. Oh, if you boil chicken, it retains all its moisture and flavor. Oh, I completely believe you, but just the words boiled chicken, that's the kind of thing that made me go mostly vegan. I just can't. I realized that some meats I was eating just I could eat only when I put sauce on it, and the sauce would be what allowed me to eat the meats. And I was like, well, if I don't like meat, I shouldn't eat it, right? It's not because it's the accepted thing and it's available that I should comply with it. Oh, that. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, Jacqueline hated peas when she was little and still hate them to this day. That's funny. Oh, Jit, do you only eat the white of the eggs? Or do you eat the whole thing? Yeah, I basically realized that I don't like meats that have no fat in it. That's basically the way I roll. I would much prefer have a smaller amount of fatty meat than a larger portion of low fat meat, whatever they call it. It's just so tasteless. It's basically like eating the sole of a shoe. I think the sole of the shoe might be even better though. Ah, whole, no waste, awesome. Yes. I'm always sad when I see people throw away the yolk of the eggs, because that's like the best part. Like, that's the tasty part. The white doesn't taste like anything. It's just a texture. It's basically like jello. Fat is what gives taste to thing. Like, I'm okay with chicken. Well, I'm okay. I'm better with chicken if it's from a brown part of the chicken, like something with a bit more fat in it, because fat equals taste. But white chicken, oof, oof, oof. Not my thing. Definitely not my thing. Oh, especially if you go at it without skin. That's like, why are you so against tasty things? You don't have to eat a whole bowl of chicken skin, but whatever comes with the piece you're eating should be fine, you know. I like fish. Fish is good. Ian says that he thinks he has vegetable intolerance. Yeah, I agree. Like, fat has a really bad rap, but it's not fat the problem. It's eating an unbalanced diet, like something that is too poor in one thing and too rich in the rest. Like, when there was the fat-free craze many years ago, like, everything became fat-free, but the fat was removed and replaced with sugar. So instead of having something a bit more balanced, people were eating stuff that was completely unbalanced, like way too much sugar, not enough fat. Protein depends on what it is. So it's just, I mean, if an egg comes with yolk, you should eat the whole thing. And yeah, if you focus only on one part of the thing, then perhaps you should look for something else, maybe. I don't know, I feel weird about I don't know. This is weird stuff. But yeah, they thought that removing the fat would help people having cardiovascular disease. And in fact, it just made everything worse. So definitely that wasn't the problem. Well, chicken skin is good if you cook it crisp. Do they have Kentucky Fried Chicken in Canada? Yeah. No, but that's a bit different. This is lean chicken that is dipped into oil. This doesn't bring as much taste to the meat as a meat that naturally has a bit of fat in it. Because the fat that is part of the meat is what will give it taste. But if you take some lean meat and cook it in fat, it's not gonna necessarily make it better. Stephen, that's quite a bomb to drop on us before leaving. I am not gonna Google that. That doesn't sound amazing. A fish, fatty fish, mind you. Salmon and mackerel. I can't do any of this fatness stuff. Seriously, it's just so bland. I apologize for shaking the camera. Fat is better than sugar, at least it is natural. Well, it depends. If you eat fruit, fruit has sugar in it and it's naturally occurring sugar. So that's still better than like candy. But it is sugar. Aw, I'm glad you like the space cats, Avery. That was such a fun idea. I had to try and doodle some space cats. This one is really tiny and this one is much bigger, but that's okay. Oh, Dan! You should add a cat ship, like a spaceship, but for cats. But where would I add it? It would basically be somewhere over here, I guess, if they are out with the hair tubes. I guess. I mean, this isn't really thought out. There is not a lot of reflection that went into this. But I'm fairly confident that if they had a spaceship, it would be like, I'm just going to put it there because it would be like, you know, kind of a flying saucer, but with ears on it. I think that would be the kind of spaceship they have, and like the perhaps the windows for commanding the ship would be the eyes or something. No, it would be like kind of a small silly ship, because let's face it, this is not exactly scientifically accurate. Though I think they sent cats into space in the early era of space exploration. There. Oh, welcome back, Otto. Otto, a question, because Otto says that she can't eat fat, never have been able to keep it down. That's perfectly fine. But still cooks with the fat on, then takes it off before servicing herself. Well, having a part of the food. So a question, do you notice the difference in taste between, say, a piece of meat, like, let's say a chicken breast that you cooked without the fat on, without skin, fat, anything, or a piece of chicken that you cooked with the fat and removed it? Even if the fat is not there, do you notice a difference in taste? Because that's interesting. No, it's a good thing to say these things because I think that there are so many fad diets and trends that it's not what people would assume. I think, what if I keep it there? Because I'm afraid that if I put something in here, it's gonna mess up the silhouettes. But this is kind of a lousy place for it. Then again, this is not exactly a planned drawing. I think I might just put it there anyway, and if I decide to do a better drawing... Yeah, you said servicing! It's such a funny typo, but I know you meant serving. Oh, sorry, that was really funny. Okay, so yeah, there's a difference. But Otto was saying that she sees a difference, particularly in steaks. Huh. Yeah. Good to know, good to know. That was such a funny typo. What are you watching at the same time, Jacqueline? Oh, that is cry laughing. Oh. Oh, okay, Jacqueline, you're looking at the painting tutorial. Oh. Well, I can understand that. I mean, some painting tutorials, they don't really have audio, or if you've listened to it already and you just want a refresher, you don't really need to hear the stuff, just perhaps see what's going on. So yeah, totally get it. I'm glad you decided to stay with us, regardless. That's really cool. Okay, so which paints should I use? Because I'm gonna put a bit of color on this, or at least try to. I think with a scene like that, the biggest challenge would be space. Because I don't want to make it super heavy by having a really intense background, but still it's in space, so I cannot just leave it white, because it's kind of weird. Space is super dark, so... I think you're right, Jacqueline. This conversation is certainly more amusing. Okay, so Holbein, Renaissance. I'm gonna take a few suggestions and then you guys will vote for your fab, I think. And I'm gonna drink some tea. Holbein, Renaissance. Okay, so between these four guys, Holbein, Renaissance, handmade paints, or M. Graham. Perhaps not handmade paints, because I don't think I would have a my sort of range of handmade paints is a bit more towards the earth tones in their nature, so I don't think it would be perhaps the best idea for something in space, but let's say between Holbein, Renaissance, and M. Graham. Oh, okay, I want to put a bit of color on this, and I want I'm letting you guys have the responsibility of choosing paints between Holbein, Renaissance, and M. Graham, so just vote for whichever you would like me to use to color this. Sorry. Holbein, M. Graham's Renaissance. I definitely don't have enough of Amis paints to be able to paint this. But they have kind of a shuttle that's up here, let's say, and they are connected to the shuttle while taking readings. I should perhaps put something in there that they're taking readings of. I'm gonna make it a big crystal because crystals. Yeah, not maybe not. Yeah. Holbein. Oh, hi, Paolo. Welcome back. Seems pretty even between Holbein and M. Graham. Might end up being a matter of which palette fits better on my desk at the moment. Why not a combination of both? Because if I don't have the space for one set, I might not have the space for two. Sleep a kitty. I'm all out of kitties at the moment. They're all busy sleeping. Best criterion. Desk space. The ultimate decision maker. Okay, which... I think I don't have enough space for either of my palettes. Yeah. Definitely not enough space for this one, unless it takes up the whole space. And then again, it's like it's going overboard over here. But it's going overboard in general because just look at the thing. But yeah, I still need to make a reference swatch sheet for this one. But That's M. Graham. And I have quite a few Holbein palettes. So it's a different challenge. Yeah, Indent Through Blue by M. Graham is really nice. Okay, maybe this one. Nope. What about the Holbein Botanical? I really want to use it, but I haven't done my video on it yet. And I kind of want to keep it fresh and beautiful for the video first. But I was looking at it earlier and I was just dreaming of using it. So, yeah. It would be interesting to see if it's adaptable for other use. Good point. I just need to check what color is this one. Oh, I think I know what it is. I think it's royal blue. Yep. Yep. Okay. Still feels like a good selection of colors for this scene, possibly. Yeah, the M. Graham Indent Throne is gorgeous. I don't think it's the darkest I have. I still think that the darkest I have is Daniel Smith. Oh jeez, I have no idea which one is the Indent Throne in there. Yeah. I've set up this palette alright, but it's still like my I have a cheat sheet for which color is where, but it's elsewhere. I have no idea which one of these blues it is. Could be this one. Yep, that does seem likely. Yeah. But it's way too big. It's a huge ass palette. Which one? The big one is okay, the big one is not from Holbein because it would cost an arm and a leg. It is from Hyungil, and this one is a real Holbein one. It's a cute small one. I think I'm gonna try this one. I don't have any swatch reference for it. I might make one just really quick. But yeah, that color is just amazing. The thing is that M. Graham paints rewet so easily that it necessarily gives them an edge. Oh wow. I really I really grabbed a swatch of this paper that doesn't want to take paint. Like I must have had lotion on my hands or something when I first cut this off. I'm not sure I have Old Holland in the black. Yeah, oh my... Wow, okay. Garbage. Straight to the garbage. What is this paper? Let's try this again. Okay, that's a bit better. That is not the Holbein Botanical. The Holbein Botanical is a really pretty palette. This is one of the Yuko Higuchi palettes. Oh, the Indent Throne, okay. I don't think I have Old Holland's Indent Throne either. I don't have many paints by Old Holland, sadly. So yeah, so I think this set is perfect for the kind of thing I want to paint, because I have all these colors that can be used for something like the crystal. There are good colors for the cats over here. And there's a gray here that I can use for the spacesuit. So many cat hair. Thanks, Pekko. This is the royal blue, I believe. Does look like it, doesn't it? Yeah. And finally there is a umber, brown. Yeah, it looks like raw umber, doesn't it? Well, actually Holbein doesn't call it raw umber, they just call it umber, but yeah. And I want to quickly because this is a beautiful palette that I'm super excited. Oh, I'm so excited to try it. I really need to get around to filming this. It's a really interesting palette because for botanicals, like you have a lot of bright colors to be able to match the colors of plants and flowers. So it's not the same thing. And yeah, this is Holbein paints. The color selection is from one of Yuko Higuchi's 2 collaborations with Holbein. And yeah, that's. Is there any more questions about the paints? Squeak. Oh, Holbein Botanical is just the name of a palette that they came out with. It's a 24 colors palette that features a color selection that is well suited to painting botanicals. I'm glad the live streams are keeping you entertained while ironing, Hercule Poirot, because yeah, ironing sounds awful. Okay, if you have questions for me, make sure to write perhaps questions before, because I kind of get confused about what is questions for other people in the chat and what is questions for me. Okay, it's my... Oh yeah. Now I can show you the mug. I hope this shows. But it says, "I moose hug you." And it's a moose in the Christmas weather. And this was given to me by my friend who's also a Supernatural fan, with definitely an intent to relate it to the way they nickname Sam Winchester Moose, and this stupid "I moose hug you" catchphrase on the mug. So that's the story of that. brush is Escoda Ultimo size 6, because it's always a good starting point. Can I prop this up somewhere? Yeah. Question, have you painted dinosaurs before? No, I haven't. I am not super huge on dinosaurs. Not that it was just any other thing. Like, I'm definitely more huge on cats, as is definitely obvious by now. I've painted a lot of cats, but not dinosaurs. I don't really know how to draw reptiles. It's really not a subject I'm familiar with, so it's perhaps a bit more difficult and less something I can fall back on when I just want to draw something. Like, I've perhaps drawn enough cats by now that I can improvise my way out of it, but not quite the same for dinosaurs. I would have to practice drawing dinosaurs a bit more before I could feel comfortable, but enough to just paint them like that. You've liked cats since when? Since forever. Since I was born. I was born to like cats. Avery, I don't think you're the only one who draws dinosaurs. I know that someone like Kimba draws dinosaurs as well. Kimberly. But you paint birds and they are almost dinosaurs. Oh, I guess that would count. Huh. Good point, Malvina. And hi, by the way. Yeah, that's true. I forget that birds are like dinosaurs. Which is perhaps why birds are so cool. Question, what paints are you using right now? Holbein. Palette by Holbein and paints by Holbein. In a very fortunate twist of things. And eraser shavings. Yeah. Oh, that was sarcasm. Yeah, I guess so. But, you know, I never quite know, because when I was super anxious, there was really a phase where I forgot. Like, I no longer found the same enjoyment in anything, including cats. And it's only after, like, going on medication that I was like, that's true, I really like cats. Like it faded. It was drowned in the anxiety, and when the anxiety sort of went away, the love for cats resurfaced even more. Yeah, Kimba does amazing dinosaurs, and like even if it's fantasy lizards as well, she's really good. She likes dinosaurs a lot. Oh, no problem. Yeah. It's fairly easy to just repeat what's the paints I'm using. Oh no! Oh no, Jit, I hope you feel better soon. Aww. Migraines. Dan, can you find... do you remember what Kimba's handle is? I can't... I'm blanking out on it and it's annoying me. It's Kimberly LeCrone. Yeah. Kimberly LeCrone. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, James Gurney. The master of dinosaurs, indeed. He's the master of many things, including dinosaurs. Kimberly LeCrone, Lecrone, I think. Oh yeah, Kilocron, thank you so much, Dan. Oh really? If you haven't heard of James Gurney's Dinosaurs yet, that's really one to check out. Does she paint dinosaurs with feather? Kimba? I think so. She likes to paint fantasy creatures also, so there might be a bit of overlap here. Like it's basically a dinosaur with feathers, but it's bright blue. Oh yeah, James Gurney's videos are amazing. Like whatever he puts on YouTube, it's pretty fantastic. Oh, bye Kathy. Thank you so much for being there. But yeah, James Gurney shows how he makes his intros, and they're like all filmed. Like even if it looks like stop motion, it's all real-time motion that he filmed for all the mechanical thingies, and he posts videos about that, and that's amazing. And then his gouache and cassine, anyway, his paintings are just out of this world. He's a master, for sure. Oops, that was my stomach. This is not super awesome paper. I'm basically not doing what I said to do for a beginner. This is just like practice paper. But it's not necessarily good practice because it doesn't take in the paint as well as the final surfaces. So even if you use this for practice and then you want to paint the real thing, it's going to be difficult because it's not going to behave the same way. But it's kind of like my sketching paper. I can practice more like laying down the colors and inking and just the process itself, not focusing on the result, but really the process. Oh, bye, Patricia. Thank you for being there. I'm using Fabriano student paper, 140-pound cold press. It's cellulose paper. It's not amazing, but it's cheap and it's decent, which is more than I can say for many cheap student paper that are just not good. Oh no, Lana, I hope you feel better soon. Aw. Take care of yourself. It's been a rough week. I feel like a lot of people have felt not awesome this week. And I really hope everyone feels better soon. Question, have you used gouache before? Yes, I have. Though I kind of use it like watercolor, so I'm not sure I'm a good reference for anything involving gouache. So, any more questions or anything else you guys want to chat about? that the 25% cotton one? The one I'm using... weird cramp, hold on. Owie. I hate these. Okay. The one I'm using is this one. Doesn't really say what it's made of, but it's definitely not cotton, or not 100% cotton. But it's Fabriano, it's good paper, but it's branded by my local art supplies chain. And that's it. They don't really say what it's made of. They only say that it's paper from responsible sources, made with hydropower and acid-free. Question, what is your favorite brand of brush? Would you recommend Silver Black Velvet? I would not. Not because they're bad brushes, but because I personally have a hard time with them. They're a bit too soft for me. The brush I like to recommend is the Escoda Ultimo, because it's a fake squirrel brush, so it holds a lot of water, but it's a bit more springy. Well, if you look, I have only one Silver Black Velvet, and it's barely used because I really don't know how to use it. It's too soft. Perhaps it's too big also. Perhaps I should have gotten a smaller one. But yeah, it's not as springy, so I kind of struggle a bit more with it, and it tends to be really soft. But I mean, these are really good brushes, and they work for many people. So if they work for you, that's an excellent brush. But yeah, they don't really work for me. I prefer the Ultimo. What paper is your fav to work on? Good question. I am still in the process of finding more about that. I am learning a lot through doing the abstract paintings you've seen me paint. That's been a great way to learn about papers. I'm really enjoying the super thick paper, like 300 pounds. That's pretty awesome, seriously, to use. It just never ever... what's the word I'm looking for? It keeps it stays flat regardless of what you throw at it. It's pretty amazing in that sense, but it's also very expensive, so that's a problem. I can use it because I have many sheets left over from my aunt, who was a painter. So I am using her old stock of paper, and I'm really liking the thickness. But I think anything that is cotton paper, at least 140 pound and not too textured. Depends on what you're painting. If you paint abstracts, texture are amazing. They create awesome effects. But if you paint more illustration, texture is not always welcome. Sometimes it's a bit too much, because it's more difficult to get the details in. So if you want to paint an illustration that has a lot of precise information, if you can't put it in because the paper doesn't take details well, that's going to be annoying. But if you paint something more with more gesture, more well, less details actually, well then it's awesome. It's good paper. Oh yeah, 300 pound paper is awesome, but it is incredibly expensive. Like I checked last time, and an imperial sheet, so that's 22 by 30 inches of 30 pound paper, either Arches or Fabriano, is around $17 to $20 for one sheet. It doesn't make you want to practice on it. It's just an insane price. It's a bit of a bummer, because it's really fun paper to use, but it's really not friendly for most budgets. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Okay, let's tackle the tough stuff. The sky. Hey, speaking of space, has anyone watched the new Lost in Space series that was on Netflix? Did you like it? Gonna switch to something a bit more, a bit bigger actually. Okay, well, size 10 Skoda. I hope it's gonna be big enough. Well, Netflix recently had a new Lost in Space series. I know it's a movie. It might be based on a book or something, but they recently had a new series added to their content, and it was like filmed recently. It's a new thing about Lost in Space, and it was quite fun to watch. Oh, bye, Carria. Have fun. Oh, haven't watched yet. Huh. Well, let me know when you watch it, Paulo. As a fellow sci-fi fan of sci-fi things in general. Oh yeah, this is not great paper to be doing this, but yeah, let's try to make something kind of decent out of it anyway. The paint really doesn't do anything interesting on the paper. It just stays there. This is so sad. Yeah, I agree. This community is so nice. It's so great to be with a bunch of friends who also all enjoy paints and painting and animals and cats and dogs. See, I mentioned dogs. Oh, okay. Cupcakes, your family's lucky. Thanks for being there, Avery. That was really cool. Yeah, I agree with Otto. Best leaving reason ever. Why is there a crystal floating in space? Because why not? I'm sorry. Oh. Ooh. Oh, Otto, did you start painting the iris and I missed it? No. Yeah, I will always recommend Ultimo. I'm really glad that you enjoy them, Otto. They are super affordable, really nice fake squirrel, so they are vegan. I think it's only fake squirrel in there. It says Sintetico, so I guess so. Oh man, cupcakes. Muffins and cupcakes are like the best thing ever. They're my favorites. Especially if you can get like the muffins straight out of the oven and you made like muffins with way too much chocolate in them, so the chocolate is still like everywhere and melty. That's like the best thing ever. And if you don't like it, I challenge you to fight me, because I am quite strong in my muffin and cupkin beliefs. Awesome. Oh, yes, yes, please, I want to see. Yes, Otto, I want to see. I will check after the live stream, of course, but yeah. Do you guys want to have a sub the love segment at the end, like we did last time? Cupkins! Yay! Oh, okay. Yeah. There's... I was just... You know, I drew the cats and then I was like, oh, this cat is definitely like checking something out. But there was nothing there. So I was like, what can I put in space that would fit with the action that this cat is doing? And I was like, crystal, because it's easy and I like crystals, they look cool. And it's gonna be fun, right? All good reasons. I mean, I think can crystals be in space, or do they like explode, or is this something happens to crystals in space? Like, I am not super knowledgeable. Like, I really like astronomy and stuff, but I am not not super duper knowledgeable about this stuff. Do you guys know about the rule of cool? Oh, hi Kiharu, it's been some time. It's really nice to see you. But yeah, are you guys familiar with the rule of cool? It's one of my favorite rules in the world. It's pretty cool. It's the rule of cool. Oh, cool. So Paulo is saying that, yeah, they can exist in space. Awesome. Oh, hi, Denise. Yay. Hi, Denise. Bunch of friends in the chat. That is the best. The rule of cool played out. Okay, it's, mind you, keep in mind that it's only about like stuff that doesn't have a lot of incidence on real life issues. Like, you cannot use the rule of cool to do stuff that would harm someone or just be like not super nice. But say you're in a situation of fiction and your choices are either a more realistic thing but that is boring, and a thing that is perhaps a bit less realistic but that is cool. You can say, well, I don't care, I decided that this is the rule of cool. I choose the option that is the coolest and not the option that makes the most sense, because this is fiction and basically it's It's not, it's inconsequential of anything. It's just for fun, you know. So that's the rule of cool. So that's something that can be used, like say you want to draw a knight in a shining armor, but with the setting you've made up, it's cooler if the armor, instead of being just silver metal, is green metal. The rule of cool, you can make it green metal. And if someone asks and say, well, green metal is not a thing, you say, yeah, but it's cooler, so I don't care. I don't know if I can I don't know if I explained it well, but that's basically rule of cool. In my book, anyway. That's how I like to use it. Yeah, people use the rule of cool a lot in biographies. That's really true. What's happening here, Space Cats? Yeah. That's basically what it boils down to. Space Cats. It was just a fun sketch to get more used to painting, drawing, how this pen reacts to being painted over. I knew it would be waterproof, but still, you never really know. Oh, I'm gonna have to go soon. Because every once in a while I cannot stay indefinitely. Because we have home stuff to do. Well, home, apartment, but you get the idea. I am using, well, Ultimo brushes, lousy cheap paper, and Holbein paints. Oh, only 1 week before your puppy, Cyan. That's really cool. Puppy. Ooh la la. Ooh la la. That's gonna be quite the experience. Hi, Rich Overstreet. Welcome. Okay, question. Eve, have you read Le Grand Monde? Somehow the rule of cool reminded me of that awesome book. No, I haven't. What is the book about? Dan. Aha! That's interesting, Denise. Well, as you can see, this paper is not really doing a great job with the paints, but yeah. So Denise is saying that she thinks the paper was the culprit for her not loving Holbein first. What was the paper you used the first time? Yeah, the only thing this set doesn't really have is a yellow. So that makes for weird greens, but the book was written by Alain Fournier and is a kind of adventure romance and coming-of-age story. It's been made into a film too. Ah, interesting. I don't read a lot because it takes time and we have a finite amount of time available in a day for stuff. But I used to read a lot more. I need to remember this book title. Just cheap paper makes even Daniel Smith and M. Graham look sub-awesome. Yeah, cheap paper is bad. There is no way around it. I wish it was better, but nah, cheap paper, it will sink your painting super fast. The only way I like to sink a painting is by my own efforts, not because I used lousy paper. And with the exception of sketching, of course. How do all the art YouTubers know each other? Well, we talk to each other and we go to each other's live streams and we all like the same things, so we can help each other when we have questions. And it's basically like anything. Like the community as a whole is quite communicative and friendly. So it's not a big secret. Oh, there's an Audible version too, huh? Is it available in French? I'm guessing so, because with a title and a name like that, this has got to be like a French book on some degree. If it's available in audiobook in French, that would be much easier for me to listen to. Because I struggle with listening to audiobooks in the way that I'm pretty sure a lot of you can relate, in that I will often zone out completely and then I realize that I've missed a whole chunk of story. And I have no idea what's going on now. I'm quite sure that is common. Crazy Cat Lady Dan refers to so many of us. It's no longer super indicative of a specific person. Yeah, of course there are even more than 100. Oh, cool. Cool, cool. I need to remember that. I also need to check in the dictionary what is a mold. A mold? Because I don't think I've heard that word before. Ah, c'est le nom du héros principal du livre. Huh. Okay, I'm definitely curious. I need to write this down. Never mind my super bad stuck compressed handwriting. Can't stop eating those roasted chickpeas. I think it's a good thing. Like, chickpeas are a pretty great nutrient-packed food, so yeah, you could do far worse. So I think I am about done. Just adjusting a few details. And this is just like a kind of a sketch thing. I think that's the one element that I'm learning now that I realized that perhaps I didn't pick up on earlier, but it's that you need to practice a lot, and the only way you can practice a lot is by making a lot of paintings, and the only way you can make a lot of paintings, is if you don't feel pressured to make each one of them awesome and pretty and perfect and good. So this is why I try to fill my sketchbooks, and I try to just draw whatever in it, even if it's bad. Some of them just don't work. And you try to live with it, and you say, well, I still learned something, and like, this is a good learning experience for me in terms of how do you paint characters on a darker background like this one. And I think I could possibly rework it a bit, but I want to wait until it's dry and have like areas that are a bit darker and all that. But yeah, so space cats. Aw, Dan. It also so hot weather by you. Yeah, it's kind of hot, and it's getting really hot in the I don't know how I'm gonna do this summer, because it's gonna be difficult to have live streams because it's gonna be so hot in here. So yeah. Whew. Yep. Toasty. Ooh, chickpeas with cinnamon. That sounds amazing. Mind you, anything with cinnamon is is good. So yeah, I'm seriously enjoying painting a lot more ever since I decided not to worry so much about it and just, you know, try to have fun with the stuff. And that everything is a good learning experience. So if a painting doesn't pan out, that's okay. There are so many paintings that need to be awful before you can paint one that is actually good, that if you only postpone painting until you feel like painting something great, you're never gonna paint great. You need to paint a bunch of silly stuff before you can get to painting great stuff. That's just the way I try to make it happen. I don't have an AC. It's not practical with the way my place is set up. And we don't have a lot of space for an, you know, those that are on wheels that you just plug something in the window. They still take a lot of space. Do what I do, remove more layers. Yeah, and I'm not gonna stream like in my underwear because that's a risk. But yeah, it's not even like full heat and I'm still warm, so it's gonna be awful. Did I mention that I don't like summer? Because I don't like summer. Ooh. Wow, those chickpeas sounds amazing, Otto. With cumin, coriander, and smoked paprika. Celery salt. Oh, sounds awesome. Oh, bye, Mary. Thank you so much for being there. Did you see the mug? Did you see the mug? I think you were the one who wanted to see the moose mug. So yeah, that's the I Moose Hug You mug. Oh, thank you so much, Hercule Poirot. I'm really glad that you like this. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Jacqueline. Like, there are some places in the world that an AC is mandatory, but you know what? Usually these places, they don't have a need for a heater. Like, with the winters we have, the focus is a lot more on having a way to heat up the place rather than a way to cool it down in the summer. Because the winters are brutal. Kitties in the sky with crystal. Yeah. Alright, so if there are not any more questions, I will end this here. And I wish you all an excellent, awesome, super cool weekend. If you have great weather, try to enjoy it before it gets too intense in the summer. And, oh yeah, remember to pet your cats, dogs, pets, hamsters, bunnies, whatever you like to have as a pet. And if you don't have a pet, you can try stealing one or borrowing one, or yeah. I can hug my cats for you if you want to. That's an option. So have a great weekend, everyone, and take care. Bye bye.